guys, welcome back to White or Black. It's been a while since I've done a video introduction, but I just wanted to take a few moments to say thank you for everyone's support and everything you've been doing to help the channel grow. Um, Today's video is going to be a little different. I guess technically it would still fall into the paranormal realm, but this video, instead of being a supernatural, spooky experience I had, it's actually the other side of the spectrum. This video is my encounter with what I believe was an angel. I believe it was an encounter I had, and I don't know if it was timing or what it was, but I was actually able to visualize um, this angel that I believe was looking over me. And I actually encountered it a few times in my life, and it's quite the different experience when you experience something to that effect. Um, the other things, make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. This encounter was completely different, where you did not get that sensation. But I'm not going to spend too much time speaking of, on the intro. I would like to just take a quick moment to, for you, the viewers and the supporters of the channel, just to give you a little reminder. If you go to the channel description, in the description, there is a link to my book. If you click on that link, it will take you directly to Amazon, to the home page for my book, which is this guy right here. This is called Solo. It's called Solo. Singularity Often Leaves Obstacles. It's my poetry book that I wrote. If you have interest in poetry, it's not your average read. There's a few different subjects in there, from supernatural to romance. It's all tied together with a spiritual narrative. So if you guys are interested in that, you can check it out. There is a short here on the channel with one of my poems. In my first video, I shared one of the poems out of the book as well. So give it a look-see if you're interested. If you know anyone that likes poetry, maybe you can direct them to the channel as well. So without further ado, though, we will get in today's video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's inspiring. I hope it encourages you to pray, to know God, to believe that there are other things out there that are there for your protection, to give you hope. Like I said, it's an actual true experience that I had, and I feel it constantly. It gives me peace knowing that there are other things out there looking over us. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. Thanks again for all your support. Today's video is called Angels Among Us. Now, this occurrence happened to me probably back in my early teen years. My sister, she lived down in Nevada, and in the area she was living in, it's an outskirts there of Las Vegas. And there was a lot going on in the neighborhood around the time, where there were people that was just randomly walking into people's houses. There was theft going on. In fact, it had occurred at my sister's home, where they were actually home, and a few people had just walked in thinking that no one was home, and kind of startled, and they turned and they left. So there were some things going on currently in that neighborhood. But during the summer months and this and that, sometimes we would take a 2-week break. And my sister, she was a bit older. She was married. She had kids of her own. And, we would just go down there, stay with her for a couple weeks, to get some time, with my sister. Well, at this particular time, there was nothing there other than, what had priorly occurred going on. And I would usually sleep on the couch. Well, on one particular night, I was sleeping on the couch, and out of nowhere, I was awoken by a extremely bright white light. And I literally could not focus my eyes. I was rubbing them and trying to get them to adjust. Right out of a sound sleep. And I kind of was seeing something there. The way the front room was set up, I was laying on one couch, and then kind of perpendicular, there was another couch against another wall, and then there was another couch that was parallel to where all the seating was facing each other. So from the couch that I was on, I could kind of make out a figure across the way sitting on the other couch. And I just kind of continued to rub my eyes because, I was right out of a sound sleep. But the more I rubbed my eyes, I noticed that there was a woman sitting on the other couch. And I noticed that she was wearing this long white gown, basically, that came clear down to the ankle, and she just had her head turned and was kind of looking to the other side. But it was so bright that I was having trouble, trying to decipher what I was seeing. And so I rubbed my eyes some more. And the more I rubbed my eyes and I'd look, and I'd see she was still there. And throughout all of this, she just sat there silently. And she was staring off to her right side. She'd never make direct eye contact with me. And I was still thinking, what's going on here? This is kind of strange. She looked kind of familiar, though, like I knew her. However, it was nobody living there, which is kind of weird. And so I'd rub my eyes some more, and the more I did it, and the more I looked, the more I realized she's still there. I remember she had her hands down on her lap. Hands were laced together, her fingers laced together, just resting in her lap, and she continued to stare off to the side. And I remember, like, okay, this is weird. It's bright. It was so bright it was hard to look at her. And I continued to rub my eyes, and the more I'd do that, and I'd look again. At one point, finally, the light started to diminish, and it started to become less bright and less bright. And I'd rub my eyes some more, and I'd look, and it became less bright. My eyes were able to focus a little bit better. And the more I rubbed my eyes and looked, it was almost like it just kind of, like she just kind of slowly diminished back into a different realm. Now, I know that sounds strange, but throughout all of this, I never felt a sense of panic. Nothing, I was calm. There was nothing there to make me feel uncomfortable. In fact, it didn't even register to me. And I remembered after all this and that, it's like I was awake and I was like, okay, I needed to go and, relieve myself and use the bathroom. And so I got up off the couch, went into the bathroom. I was doing my thing. Nothing was registering. This is what's really weird. Nothing alerted me to danger or anything abnormal or unusual. And so I just kind of went about my thing. I used the bathroom, and then I was going to go back to the front room there and lay back down on the couch and get some rest, get back to sleep. So I go back to the front room, and as I get back to the front room, I'm there like standing behind the couch, and then it dawns on me. And I think to myself, what just happened? And here's the point where now I suddenly became kind of weirded out, and I ended up just, it's like, okay, no, that was a little strange. That was a little weird. Said, no, I'm not sleeping out here the rest of the night. So I ended up gathering up my blankets and this and that. And I actually went in and was sleeping in the kids' room the rest of the evening. And next morning comes, and my sister thought it was kind of strange that I was in there too. And I went about explaining what I had experienced just the night before. And the more we discussed that amongst ourselves, the more and more the kids seemed to believe that it was their grandmother on their father's side who had passed. She was elderly and this and that, and she had long, straight blonde hair too when she was younger. I saw some photos of her. I don't really believe that's who I saw, but the kids themselves had actually said that they had seen something and experienced something, similar to that effect. And I'll explain why I don't believe that it was their grandmother that I was seeing. There was a follow-up to this story here the next morning, which we had found that same morning after discussing some of this stuff. We had went to the front door, and we had realized somehow, for some reason, and in this area, you locked your doors at night and everything else. It's a large area. The door was left slightly ajar. Now, we don't know if somebody had tried to come in or if someone had left the door slightly open, but it was open. It was not closed. And it kind of dawned on me, which gave me more comfort, like, okay, that door was left open. Either someone tried to come in or somebody left it open, and so it was available for somebody to come in. And I believe that I came to a conclusion right then and there. What I saw in the front room was an angel, and I believe it was my guardian angel there looking over me that evening. That whatever may have been coming in there with me right there in the front room may have potentially caused me harm. And she was there to protect me. And so I actually had a great deal of comfort from that, and I never had another problem sleeping out there the rest of my stay. And yeah, it's what it was. Well, let's go down the road sometime into my early 20s, out of high school, and I admit I was a little reckless at that time. I took high school pretty serious. Didn't get into much trouble in high school. However, I was at that point in my early 20s where I was lost. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I didn't know what I was doing for work. I did not have a steady girlfriend, anything to that effect. And so I was living kind of recklessly. I was working a lot of graveyard shifts, weird hours, things like that. And I remember one night there was a gas station I'd always stop at on my my way to work and get a drink or whatever. And this particular night, I actually had been drinking and this and that, and yeah, it was a different time. Was going to work, I mean, it wasn't unusual at the time. But I pull up to this gas station, I get fuel, and I'm getting ready to go inside to get the things I need. And this parking lot, I mean, it's very seldom empty. But this night it was empty. I mean, there was no other cars there. And I notice after I'm pumping my fuel that there's this blonde woman. And she's standing up close to the entrance of the store. And she just kind of has this coy smile, there on her face and not really saying anything. And I remember thinking to myself how out of place she looked. I was like, all right, what's she doing out here this time of night? Where's her vehicle? How out of place this is. And she's smiling at me. And I began walking to the store and this and that, and there was nothing said. And I remember smiling back at her as well. And it was another instance where this didn't dawn on me till after. But I got up close to the store. There was nothing said. I smiled back. And the whole time she just kind of stared at me. So I'm thinking, I got my things in the store. I mean, like I said, the store's empty. It only took me a moment or two to, get my things. And I was coming back out the door, and I was expecting her to be there. And, I was actually thinking to ask her if she needed help or something, Like I said, there was no other cars there. I didn't know how she got there, if she was kind of stranded or stuck. And so I come back out, and I'm looking, and there's no one there. In this area, there is... it's kind of wide open there. I mean, even to another business at that time, there's none other there. It's over the overpass of the freeway, and there was no other businesses for her to really make her way over to just disappear that fast. And I'm looking, and she's gone. No trace. There's no vehicle there to pick her up. There's no one else out there. There wasn't to begin with, and she's just gone. And this realization kind of dawned on me that, oh, that was her again. And, I know there was another experience I had, similar, and it's always a similar personage that I see. This blonde, female, angel. And something tells me I know her. And, maybe it's one of those things where it's like your spirit knows. You knew that person or that angel, that spirit. You knew them before you came to Earth. And their job is to look out for you. And it kind of gives you hope in your life that something there knows you have a purpose. Something is there to keep an eye out over you. And I consider it a blessing that I actually got to experience this. And, like I said, I know of a third time where I had seen her again and similar circumstances. But that is the strangest thing about it is you don't get the same feeling, as you get with these other encounters where the cold chills and, the fight or flight. It's a completely calm feeling. Even when it's weird and you just realize what just occurred was weird. You feel the difference. That's the difference. And that tells you, there is good and there is evil. But we all have something there to look over us, And I believe in that respect, we should always be seeking to be who we are meant to be and to think before we act, to to know something else is looking over us and that we have a purpose. We need to be on the right path. We need to live to be good people. We need to be less judgmental. Everyone has their own purpose. We all have to learn from our mistakes. And I think it's all of our jobs sometimes just to be an open ear. Not to judge. But if somebody wants advice, that's great. If somebody just wants an open ear, sometimes that's all they need. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I encourage you to share this video for someone you may feel needs it, or someone who has interests in this subject matter. We're trying to make this channel grow. Once again, I appreciate all you guys' support here at White or Black. Give us a thumbs up. Help us get this video and the channel exposed to more people. Until next time, we'll see you on White or Black. And